everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Spring is officially here and I, for one, am so happy. I do not like winter. Winter is the worst. I will say where I live, usually we have harsh winters in January and February. I live in like southeast, so it's really not like that bad, but I don't like the cold. But this year, honestly, has been a mild winter and I'm not mad about that at all. Hopefully that doesn't mean it's going to be a cold spring, but either way, flowers are blooming. The trees aren't looking so dead anymore, so it makes for me to be a happy camper. So I thought I would share with you some books that I think are kind of springish reads, maybe like some light romance or some kind of easier thrillers that are just will get you into, I mean, these really don't classify. It's hard to pin down spring reads. Out of all the seasons, spring is the toughest one, but I'm gonna do my best. First up is Two Wrongs Make a Right by Liese. I read this one at the end of the year in 2022 and I really enjoyed it and I haven't heard anybody talk about it. If you want kind of a breath of fresh air book, I would highly recommend this. I do believe it's also based on like a Shakespeare play. I don't know which one. I don't know. I also forgot the characters' names because I read it on ebook. Hello, hi. But basically we have two characters. I want to say it's Jamie and Kat. I don't know. But one is a twin. And basically her twin's like, look, you need to get out. You need to meet somebody. You had a breakup a while ago. You need a date. And so she kind of forces her to date her fiance's best friend, Jamie. The only problem is as soon as they meet, they hate each other. So they decide to kind of fake date in order to appease like their friends and stuff, and then they're gonna break up in front of them and make their friends feel bad for making them be together in the first place. It sounds crazy, but it was really cute. Obviously, with any fake dating romance, you can tell clearly where the plot is gonna go, but that doesn't make it any less enjoyable. I enjoyed it. It was a cute romance read that I highly recommend. Speaking of another cute romance read is The Royals Next Door by Karina. Halle. I think it's Halle. I read this also last year. I mean, it's got flowers on the cover. It's very spring-like. This one follows a character named Piper, who is an elementary school teacher, and she lives on this island that's really, really small. And she has a good life. She lives like this really small house next to this huge mansion. And then one day, like pretty much Prince Harry and Meghan move into the mansion next door, and she becomes friends with them. And she also maybe kind of starts to have feelings for their bodyguard. It's just a really springy read because you go around this island and it's so beautiful and bright and you have this kind of forbidden romance between the bodyguard and a local and it's all kind of hush-hush. And it's a really cute one. Again, another underrated romance that I don't hear much people talk about, but I still really enjoyed a ton. Next up, another romance because romance. Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. This is her latest one, and while it wasn't my favorite of hers, it would make for a great spring read because our main character is a gardener. We follow Halle, who's a gardener. She loves flowers, she loves dirt, she loves planting. She also loves Julian. Julian is a guy that she has been in love with since she was in high school. Like they almost shared a kiss in high school and she's now in her 30s and she cannot forget it. Girl cannot move on. But what do you know? Julian is back in town. His family owns this vineyard and Halle just somehow gets to do a garden for them right in front of his like guest house, and of course sparks fly again, steaminess ensues. You get it if you've read a Tessa Bailey book, you know. This one wasn't amazing, but I mean, gardening, spring, perfect, because when you get warmer weather, you want to garden. I know I do. I want to see my flowers bloom, and Halle does just that. She is very kind of a controlled chaos, and Julian's very controlled, so it makes for an interesting duo for sure. Next up, I had the Loathe to Love You series by Ali Hazelwood. This is a book that has 3 novellas comprised in one, and why I think it's a great spring read is because of just that. 3 short stories in one. You could read one day, another the next. You know, it's a very quick read. So all three follow a different best friend, and they're all scientists because Ali Hazelwood is known for that, writing women in science that are very, very smart, that make me feel oh so stupid, but they're fun. The first one I believe is about these two characters that have to be roommates that hate each other, and then you get to see that, you know, at the beginning of the book she's like, crap, I might love him, and then you get to go back in time to see kind of how their hate relationship became love. The second one's like a second chance romance, and the third one is a hate to love, I believe. But either way, they're all short and sweet and steamy, and I really enjoyed them, and I think they would be a great spring read. One of them does take place in the snow though, so maybe I should rethink this. Oh well, too late. Then we have Just Another Love Song by Kerry Winfrey. Kerry Winfrey writes really kind of cute, adorable romances. If you don't want steam, you should read Kerry Winfrey because she's got you covered. This is about a character named Sandy who's from a very, very small town, and she fell in love with this guy named Hank. He wanted to be a country music star, and she dreamed of getting out of town together, and they had these big, elaborate dreams of when they graduate high school, they will get out and everything will be great. But the only problem is when they graduated high school, Sandy's parents got into a lot of health trouble, so she had to stay behind, and Hank left town, and he actually did become a big country music star. Now, many, many, many years later, Hank is back in town with his son, and he's helping out for the town's like festival, and he runs into Sandy, and sparks fly, and it's a second chance romance that's really, really cute. I enjoyed it a ton. It's got a small town element that's very spring-like. I want to say this takes place during the spring. It could take place during the summer. I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm trying to justify spring reads, but it is what it is. But either way, it's a cute romance. If you want a cute romance with no steam, just cheesiness galore, this one's got you covered. Then the last romance I want to talk about is Sweet Spot by Trish Dollar. This is all about a character, I forget her name, but basically she's a single mom and she is getting tired of dealing with her daughter's dad because he's a deadbeat, and she's like, you know what, I'm not going anywhere. I got fired from this job I really like, and she takes this job in like this, it's kind of like near, where does this take place at? Like kind of, it's like an island near the Great Lakes, I want to say. And basically it's a very small place. She gets a job to be like the main runner, the main person in charge of this new hotel. And she's like, great, pack up my kid, let's move here. And she gets there to only learn that this hotel place has not even been built yet. She meets the owner and he's like, yeah, it's gonna be like a brewery slash like a hotel, and I hired you because I really need help with somebody like helping my dream come together. And she's like, what the heck, I thought this thing was already built. But it's a great one. It's one I don't hear a lot of people talk about. You get to see kind of a brewery slash kind of hotel being built from the ground up in this very, very small island town kind of thing. But I really, really enjoyed it. It's got a great kind of familial vibe to it as well. I liked it. A couple thrillers that are not like super dark for winter and also not super dark for like, you know, fall. Ones that are kind of lighter on the thrilling aspect. Finlay Donovan is killing it. I'm sure you've heard of this one. It's a very another cozy mystery about a character named Finlay who is a mystery thriller writer, and she's having a hard time coming up with a new book idea. So she meets her agent at Panera, and she's trying to pitch this idea of this new like book about like a hit woman that's killing for money and da 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 da. And some customer overhears her and leaves her a note that's like, hey, kill my husband for this amount of money. And she's like, you know, you're mistaken. And then she's like, oh, wait a second, I really need the money because I'm a single mom of two, so I need it. So she maybe decides to go for it. And it's a series, it's a funny one. Don't take it too seriously, but it's a great one in case you don't want a thrilling one that's super scary and things like that. Next up, we have The Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is a YA series that I really, really enjoy. I don't recommend a lot of YA books anymore, in particular YA mystery thrillers, because I don't like them a lot, but this series is phenomenal. We follow a character named Pip who is in her senior year of high school, and she has to do this project. She decides, hey, why not like open up this old murder investigation from years ago, because this one girl got killed and they blamed her boyfriend and she really does not think he did it. So she starts to get close to his brother to try to figure out more information, and it is great. It has a lot of mixed media into it as well. Phenomenal. I loved it. I still have not read the third book. I know. And then the last book we have is The Maid by Nita Prose. This one came out early last year and it was a fun one. It's another kind of cozy mystery thriller. We have a character, I forget her name. She's basically a maid in this really beautiful, lustrous hotel. And she opens a suite one day to find a dead body, and she becomes like the main suspect in this case, and she's like, I'm a maid. And it's a great book. I do think that maybe the character was on the autism spectrum because she was very set in her ways with schedules and she didn't have a lot of friends, but as the story progresses you see her open up and start to rely on people, and that was amazing. So I loved it for that regard a ton. It wasn't super scary. It was kind of like Clue, where you have to piece together who killed who and with what, you know, those type of things, but it was still a very fun mystery thriller that I enjoyed. So there you have some spring reads that I think are perfect to read in spring. Oh gosh, I need to stop. Either way, do any of these really classify as spring? No, but they're springy. They put a spring in my step. Sure, why not? We'll go with that. But I would love to know what books you consider spring. Like, what would you consider spring? Anne of Green Gables, would that be one? Little Women? I don't know. I really don't know. I would love to know what books you consider spring reads. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.